What is up, everyone? Welcome to round 3 of the Portland Monthly Premodern Paper Magic Afternoons July 2025 tournament. We got 2 rad decks to show you, so let's get into those deck lists. First up, we have myself with a deck I've brought in the past, but I've updated a little bit, and that is Black-Green Guilty Oath. Now, at its core, this is a pit rack deck. I'm looking to get all the cards out of my opponent's hand and deal them damage with the rack. However, you may notice that I'm also running copies of Oath of Druids. That is specifically to find Guilt Feeder, which is a 5-drop 0/4 that has fear, so it can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and black creatures. And whenever it attacks and is not blocked, it deals damage equal to the number of cards in my opponent's graveyard. So this is an excellent way to potentially one-shot them after a few turns of discard. This is a really cool deck concept that I actually borrowed from Phil Wynn and have modified a little bit, but the core concept is still very much the same. Because this is one of my decks, I will actually have a Moxfield link for you, so cheers to that. But getting into the actual cards, in case you don't want to click on that link, I am running 2 Guilt Feeders, 3 Oath of Druids, 4 Bottomless Pits, an absolute staple in a pit rack deck, 1 Naturalize, 4 Funeral Charms, which are excellent removal spells for low drop creatures, but also just an extra discard outlet, 3 Smothers, 2 Curse Scrolls, 4 Racks, 3 Ensnaring Bridges, 2 Innocent Blood, because again, we don't run hardly any creatures, 4 Duress, 2 Gaia's Blessing. These are actually quite important because we're not a traditional Terravore Oath deck. We actually want all of our cards in our library, and flipping and getting a Gaia's Blessing helps us refill our library and not deck ourselves. 2 Chain of Smogs, because we're not allowed to play with him to Turok. Ooh. And for lands, we have 2 City Brass, 4 Wasteland, 4 Llanowar Wastes, 3 Forests, and the rest are a bunch of swamps. In the sideboard, we have 2 Phyrexian Furnaces, 3 Engineered Plagues, 1 Tranquil Domain, the 3rd through 4th Naturalize, 1 Diabolic Edict, 1 Powder Keg, 1 Perish, and a little bit of spice I was trying for this event, and was actually very happy with 3 Spore Frog. The fun thing with Spore Frog and Oath of Druids is that you can always sack the Spore Frog and then trigger Oath of Druids on your turn again, in theory making it so that your opponent never actually gets a relevant combat step. And with Gaia's Blessing happening as well, you're constantly cycling those frogs back into your deck. It is a bit of a one-time gotcha, but assuming you won game 1, it's pretty funny. Anyways, that's the deck I'm playing. Let's see who I'm up against. Next up is UC with a deck that should look familiar because it is actually Curran's Elf deck list. Yes, he did loan it to his friend UC for this event, and it seems to be doing pretty well for him so far. I believe since we're in round 3, we are both currently 2-0. And yeah, we've talked about this list a lot. I don't think there's been much changes since Curran actually took down the last monthly with it. Spoilers, but if you haven't seen that video yet, you probably should. If you're not familiar with Elf lists in general, they're looking to generate tons of mana to eventually land big game-ending threats, like a Hasted Deranged Hermit and a ton of Squirrels, or a Masticore to just lock down the board. It's also a toolbox deck running Survival of the Fittest to go find all of those toolbox creatures, like Tribal Force Mage to turn all of those ones into 3/3 threats. You have Maya Granger, Squee, Goblin to Bob, Anger to give all your creatures haste. You're really just pitching it again immediately to survival. Natuko Vigilante to deal with troublesome artifacts or enchantments. The game ender threats like we mentioned, Masticore and Deranged Hermit, or even just a Wirewood Symbiote to help you combo off for a Multani's Acolyte to help you draw more cards. This is a very strong list. We've seen it do very well in the past. Obviously, like I mentioned, it just took down the monthly, so I do have my work cut out a little bit for me. But without further ado, let's just get into those games. And here we go. UC is on the right, I am on the left. Now, I will say this is a bit of a challenging matchup for the Guilty Oath deck. Yes, creature decks are traditionally pretty good for Oath decks, but usually Oath decks aren't getting such conditional cards as Guilt Feeder. Anyways, looks like UC is going to be mulliganing here, and I will be as well, so we're going to cut to when we both have a keepable hand. Alright, tragedy has struck a little bit here. I'm actually mulliganing down to 5. UC did find a keepable 6. So basically whatever this is, I'm gonna have to keep it. I see some early removal, I see a rack. That's roughly about it. I do have 2 Funeral Charms, which are very good against Elves. But again, in this matchup, I don't think I knew what my opponent was on. Okay, so we are keeping this, and he will start us off with a Wirewood Symbiote as an excellent target for a Funeral Charm. And it looks like I will take a point to do so. And yep, gotta remember to take a point on the dice as well. I chastise enough players from doing that. I need to make sure I'm on it on my own. Alright, looks like UC will fetch here. Grab another forest. And what kind of hand did he keep with 6? Are we going to see 2 more mana dorks? Does he have a Multani's Acolyte? I think early on, the deck definitely does want to make sure there's 2 green sources up. Okay, Priesthood Titania. That's a good one for sure. Alright, there's a rack. And there's the second Funeral Charm on the Priesthood Titania. Best mana dork in the deck. Gotta make sure that doesn't stick around and can untap. It looks like UC did have a Wirewood Symbiote he could have played out. There's a Fintorn Elves and a Wirewood Symbiote. Now, notably, I don't have any board wipes main, and we burned through a lot of the early removal. There's a Wasteland, and I don't think I can do much else, so I think I just pass here. UC will take 1 point, having only 2 cards in hand before he draws. Alright, there's a Multani's Acolyte to draw. Very good combo with the Symbiote, especially against the rack. I'm not sure what the dice is signifying. Oh, just the floating mana. That makes sense. Okay, yeah. Alright, making 2 mana to play another. We'll bounce Multani's Acolyte. Play it again. There's a fetch land. At this point, I think you want to probably grab a mountain unless you got another 1-drop mana dork, which looks like he does. Yeah, there's a Fintorn Elves. And then get in for 1. I'm just helping out here with the fetch damage while he's shuffling. Alright, I finally hit a non-painful black source. And it's my double black source, so we can go Bottomless Pit. Now, there's some interesting interaction here with Wirewood Symbiote. And I think he can still respond after the discard trigger to bounce the Multani's Acolyte, but he does have to, okay, he does have to decide if he's paying the echo cost before that. We're talking triggers here. Mine will resolve first. Oh, so he doesn't even have to worry about the echo, yeah. Okay, ooh, hitting a Masticore is pretty big. And then take 2 off the pit. He's going to pay the echo cost for the Multani's Acolyte. He could have safely bounced it, I believe, but maybe just wanting to push through damage. I am looking at taking 5 here. Okay, there's a Carrion Ranger. Tap 2, or are we going to combat? Okay. Float 2. Bounce a forest. Has not played a land yet this turn. Float 4. Are we going to see a Deranged Hermit here? This is looking like potentially a lot of mana. Alright, untapping the Finward Elves, go to 5. And there is the Hermit for 5. Now, he doesn't have haste. And I'm going to take 3 here. Now, I do have outs. And Ensnaring Bridge here would be very good. Essentially, I need an Ensnaring Bridge. I will discard another Bottomless Pit to the Bottomless Pit. And there's a land. That's not super helpful. Playing it out because there's no point in holding it up. There's an echo cost to pay for the Deranged Hermit. It looks like he will pay it. And we'll take 3 off of the Vice as well. But that is too slow of a clock, and I think I'm just dead. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I go to 2. And yeah, I need an Ensnaring Bridge or bust. And that is not an Ensnaring Bridge. That's a Smother. That would have been great last turn to stay off some damage, but we're going to go to game number 2. Alright, here we are in game number 2. I think I had a lot of cards to bring in from the sideboard here. I believe I opted for the Spore Frog plan. When Elves mostly wins through combat damage, actually exclusively wins through combat damage, I think that's a good angle to try and attack them on. But it looks like I am still going to be unlucky with the mulligans here, and we're going to cut to when I have a keepable hand. Alright, looking for a better 6 here. UC has kept 7. And yeah, I did bring in a ton of cards. Engineer Plagues, the 4 Spore Frogs. I see an Engineer Plague in hand. Alright, I have a keepable 6. It does look a little land heavy, but hey, there's an Engineer Plague, that's something, right? Of course, Elves having their own sideboard, bringing in Call the Herd after seeing all that removal early on. Makes sense, wanting to have some 2-for-1s. Alright, there's a Kieran Ranger which will survive. I do not have Funeral Charms at this time. Get in for 1 here. And I'm really just setting up for the Engineered Plague. Is he going to play another Mandork? There's a Forest. Alright, there's the Landwar Elves, and say go. Alright, 3 Swamps, Engineered Plague, naming Elves. I don't think we got a paper here to write down, but I remember, and it's kind of obvious. Unfortunately, there's going to be an elephant coming right away. Going to fetch here. And thinking about if you wanted to actually grab a forest there. I am kind of the opinion after you get 2 forests, getting the mountain makes a lot of sense. Alright, we're going to play Call the Herd, get an elephant token, and pass. Very real possibility of playing another one next turn. But there is both the druids. So maybe we'll get to do the thing. Okay. Did he draw another land for another elephant? Alright, I'm going to take 3 here. Ooh, there's a morph. Oh no, did he have the Nantuko Vigilante? Oath is going to trigger. And we'll see if I actually did opt for the Spore Frog plan. I'm pretty sure I did. Yep, there you go. Spore Frog. Just a little guy. Is he gonna take a look at it real quick? Gonna look through my library as well, see what I potentially could have brought in. Oh, I did bring in the powder kegs as well, which makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to show for camera. Engineer Plague, and Ensnaring Bridge were some of the hits that didn't quite go as planned. Alright, Wasteland for turn. Can I kill face down creature? That is the question. I cannot, and that's going to be problematic to say the least. Alright, so at the very least, there's going to be no combat damage this turn. And it's entirely possible that face down creature is not an Nantuko Vigilante, but with my luck, it probably is. Alright, we're going to swing in, going to sack the Spore Frog, no combat damage. Flip up the Nantuko Vigilante, and he is going to take the oath. Yeah, that makes sense. He hasn't seen the full shenanigans yet, but that does shut me down pretty well. Alright, I am definitely mana flooded here. There's a rack, which is not going to do anything. And I got something. Oh, there is the Parish. Alright. Well, unfortunately, UC is going to be able to just play another elephant next turn and has another Call of the Herd in hand, so 3 more elephants on parade here. I'll flashback this one first, just in case. A little bit more of a risky play, considering I do have a decent amount of discard. Ooh, but there's an ensnaring bridge off the top. Alright. We are back in this, if ever so slightly. Okay, Call the Herd. So this version of Pit Rack, in addition to just playing the Oath, we obviously don't play any of the creatures. We're not playing Hypnotic Specters or Skittering Scourges, because we don't want to be hitting those off the Oath. And now we just kind of play the waiting game. Unfortunately, we don't have a pit on the field, so while the combat lock is in effect, we're not really doing any damage. We're kind of just waiting for C to draw an answer. Yep, and yeah, we're just going to make it clear that Plague is on Elf. Symbiote's not an elf, it's an insect. It's the thing on top of the elf's head, in case you didn't know. Although if I get a second one, I'm probably going to be naming Elephant. Alright, there's a Chain of Smog. Discard 2 cards. He can bounce it back, which doesn't do anything. He's going to pitch a Squee, of course, and a Priest of Titania. Squee also very good against me in this matchup. Just going to say go. And there's a Funeral Charm. I'm thinking about passing, but I should just, yeah, kill the Wirewood Symbiote. It was going to swing in anyways, so I might as well just do it. And we're in a lot of draw go here, but here is a Curse Scroll. Alright, Alt Win Con. This is my way out, but it is a very slow way out. So he's at 18, so this is a 9-turn clock. I don't think I'm going to get 9 turns. Taking down that ensnaring bridge basically means the gates are open. We know one of the ensnaring bridges is already in the graveyard. I have 1 left in the deck. I can potentially, if I get an Oath of Druids, cycle them back in the guy's Cradle hit and get the Spore Frog engine up and running. But Uzi is just going to keep the elephant train a-rolling. Alright, there's another rack. I'm going to first shoot you for 2. Play out the rack. He's got way more than 3 cards in hand, so this isn't even going to do anything for a long time. I need to find a Bottomless Pit. There's a Naturalize. That is problematic. That is also coming in from the sideboard. There's 9 coming in. I dropped to 6 and or 7. Either way, I essentially need a Snaring Bridge. There's no other out here. A Spore Frog buys me a turn. That's a land. No, that's a... Yep, I am dead. We're going to play it out just for the hell of it. He still has more than enough cards. Doesn't take damage off the rack. And yep, that's going to be game. He takes down a clean 2-0. Bit of an unfortunate showing for the Guilty Oath deck. Congrats to UC for taking it down. That elf list is definitely a powerhouse. Thanks to all of you guys. If you made it this far, make sure to like the video so more people can see it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That is one of the best ways to support what I'm doing. If you've been subscribed for a while and you want to support the channel even more, consider joining the Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, your name gets added to this wonderful list of current patrons. I also now have a Discord that you can access through the Patreon, and we even have a channel where I post sneak peeks on videos, run ideas by patrons, that sort of thing. Money from the Patreon goes towards gear upgrades, travel expenses to go to other tournaments, and just helping me make more videos. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you next time.